Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to be discussing Education Psychology in the Music Classroom, Behavior Management, presented by Senior Vocal Music Education major Cheyenne Honeycutt. Although my senior level secondary education classes have taught me a lot about behavior management this year, I wanted to research more into what strategies work best in a music-specific classroom, such as choral ensembles or just general music classes. With all that being said, here are some of the topics we are going to be discussing today. Different types of discipline, behavior management theories, teaching philosophies, strategies for behavior management, when to take it personal, what not to do/to do scenarios, and a final what would you do scenario. So let's start with the types of discipline. There are 3 main types of discipline according to Eureekly Live Learning. We have preventative discipline, supportive discipline, and corrective discipline. The first one, preventative discipline, focuses on establishing classroom rules to prevent disruptions from ever happening. An example of this in a choral classroom could be asking your students to place their bags and belongings in a designated area before sitting in their assigned seats. Our next one, supportive discipline, focuses on the measures taken when classroom rules are broken. For example, if you have a student that brought their belongings to their seat and is causing distractions, you can easily motion to your student to put away their items without disrupting the class. But if the student is still disobeying your rules and the supportive discipline is no longer helping, that brings us to our last one, corrective discipline. At this point, the teacher should have a discussion with the disruptive student outside of class and/or meet with a parent or guardian or principal about improving the situation. Discipline can often be a very controversial topic in the teaching world. Do we allow room for students to make their own choices? Or do we establish a strict environment where students only have the choice to be well-mannered and well-behaved? There has to be a middle ground somewhere, right? After doing some research, I discovered that there are several theories and approaches out there that teachers can apply in their classrooms. For example, there is Jim Fay and David Funk's theory, Teaching with Love and Logic, Alfie Kahn's From Discipline to Community theory, Spencer Kagan's Win-Win Discipline, and a higher control approach, Lee and Marlene Kanter's assertive discipline. We will not have time to discuss all of these theories in detail today, so I encourage you, if you are interested, in researching some of these theories outside of class. Today, I want to focus on Jim Fay and David Funk's theory of teaching with love and logic. The love in Love and Logic means that we love our students so much that we are willing to set and enforce limits. This love also means that we do so with sincere compassion and empathy. The logic in Love and Logic happens when we allow children to make decisions, affordable mistakes, and experience the natural or logical consequences of our actions. Jim Fay says that the Love and Logic philosophy teaches character. Character is built out of a formula that involves 3 things. 1, a child making a mistake. 2, an adult feeling empathy and compassion for the child. And 3, the child learning from the consequences of his or her actions. Of course, that sounds easier said than done. Here are some examples of expectations that we can establish in the classroom to encourage the Love and Logic philosophy. Most of the time, a child's psychology is seeking to build connection and gain approval from their teachers. By laying out your exact expectations on day 1, students will have the formula needed for building that connection and approval in the future. Some of my favorite examples from this list are: I allow students to remain in my classroom as long as they do not cause a problem for anyone else. I teach when there are no distractions or other problems. I listen to students who raise their hand, and I listen to one person at a time. Please treat me with the same respect that I treat you. I would like to point out that some of these can be a little dangerous if expressed to students. Wording is everything. For example, number 6, If someone causes a problem, I will do something. I find this wording to be too vague. I would encourage teachers to not say this to their students, but instead have a consistent list of steps or a plan that they can apply when dealing with a behavior issue. Jump down to number 4. What I do will depend on the unique situation. Although every student is different and deals with constructive criticism differently, I would encourage teachers to be very careful, remaining as consistent as possible to every student. This can prevent unfair bias in the classroom, whether it is intentional or not. Here are some phrases that teachers can use to promote love and logic in the classroom. What would you like to happen? Would you like my thinking on that? Is it possible that? How do you feel about? What do you think? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good of a decision do you think that is? Psychologically speaking, these phrases give students the opportunity to make their own choice and to see how their choices could potentially affect any future outcome. I wanted to combine all of these different theories and ideas to see what all of them had in common. They had mutual respect between the teacher and student, making learning and safety a priority, caring about the progress made in student learning and development, and great attention to detail. By recognizing these core values shared among many teachers and educators, it is time to start considering your personal teaching philosophy. So what is a teaching philosophy? Your teaching philosophy is a self-reflective statement on your beliefs about your teaching and learning. Typically, it is a 1 to 2 page narrative that conveys your core beliefs about being an effective teacher in the context of your discipline. So why even create a teaching philosophy? It is important to set goals and expectations for yourself before you set any for your students. Your teaching philosophy will help you establish how you determine growth, success, and learning, solidify your teaching style, organize your personal values as a music educator, and creating a plan and sticking to it. So with all that being said, what should we try to avoid in the music classroom? We want to avoid stopping the flow of rehearsal to address problems, zapping or discouraging your students, and letting your emotions become visible to your students. I find this last one to be extremely important, although I did question it at first. Yes, we want to be vulnerable and open with our students, but I want to bring to your attention that whenever we let our students get a reaction out of us, it gives them the power to control our emotions for us, and therefore, they are able to figure out our triggers, or what sets us off. I encourage teachers to not necessarily become emotionless creatures, but become a model of calmness and peace for your students, even in stressful situations. You may begin to ask yourself, when are we allowed to take it personally? And the short answer is, never. You see, this is where empathy and attention to detail becomes crucial for teachers. Let's talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow was an American psychologist who developed a hierarchy of needs to explain human motivation. Maslow's theory states that our actions are motivated by certain physiological needs. When these needs are not met, it is believed that we are unable to properly function socially or internally. We often tend to look at a child's behavior and not consider what is happening in the background. Are they hungry? Is their home safe? Do they feel like they belong in this classroom? We need to think about whether all of the basic needs of the child are being met before ever taking their behavior personally. Consider this. A child is neglected at home and comes to school very hungry. They come to choir rehearsal and begin misbehaving and is not focused on the given task. It may not be because that child is a problem child. This may just be a really hungry child. Yet, we do not know this. All we see is misbehavior. Sadly, this is a scenario that may be more common than we think. By not taking a child's behavior personally, we are able to recognize the possibility that other factors could be causing this misbehavior, and we can assess before we act. Let's take a look at some scenarios. Scenario number 1. The setting is in a 7th grade treble chorus. Please write down some observations you make while watching this video.
Go. I'm not singing today. This song is stupid and this class is stupid. You should stop singing with me. No, I want to keep singing so I don't get in trouble.
Helen, stop talking during my rehearsal. If you want to chit-chat, you can do it outside of my class.
This is not my fault. Sarah told me to stop singing because this song was stupid.
Oh, really? If this class is so stupid, then get out of it. Go to the principal's office right now.
Fine. Hopefully they get this class off my schedule while I'm there.
Good, I hope they do.
Sarah's schedule could not be changed in the office, so she spent the remainder of the semester sitting silently with her arms crossed in class. Helen is also very quiet for the remainder of the semester, although she used to be a student that frequently asked questions in class. Let's see how this scenario could have played out in scenario number 2.
I'm not singing today. This song is stupid and this class is stupid. You should stop singing with me. No, I want to keep singing so I don't get in trouble.
Let's be quiet, ladies. Remember, if you have any questions, meet me after class, okay? And we can talk about it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, class. That's the bell. You're dismissed. I'll see you tomorrow. Helen, can you come here for a second? Hey, I noticed that you and Sarah seemed kind of upset during class. Is everything okay?
Yeah, I just kind of think that Sarah's not really enjoying this class anymore, or any of her classes, really. I'm honestly kind of worried about her.
Okay, well, good to know. Thank you for letting me know. Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you, Mrs. Honeycutt.
The next day, the teacher met with Sarah to ask if everything was going okay. The teacher expressed to Sarah that she was there for her if she needed anything. Sarah admitted that there were some things going on outside of class that were weighing her down and asked the teacher for some help. Sarah was provided some help from the teacher and was much more involved in choir for the remainder of the semester. Which one did you prefer? Scenario number 1 or scenario number 2? Good job. Scenario number 2 was much better. In that scene, the teacher was able to use proximity as a supportive discipline tactic, as well as reminding the girls of the rules in a quiet and respectful manner. Because the teacher noticed that something was wrong, she was able to approach the situation with empathy rather than taking it personally. Moving on to our final "What would you do" scenario. The setting is in a 10th grade general music classroom. Be sure to write down your observations and be ready to discuss afterwards.
All right, class, let's get ready. Let's get into groups of 3 for our composition project, okay? I'll be right back, so go ahead and group up.
Sarah, you said you would be my group, remember?
Well, Sarah said she didn't want to be in a group anymore, so we told her she could join us.
Sorry, Helen. I'll be in your group next time, I promise.
Whatever.
Oh, I'm telling the teacher!
What is going on? Guys, break it up. Stop. Go to the principal right now. Sarah started it.
Let's talk about that. What are some observations you made while watching this clip? And what are some preventative strategies that could have been used to prevent this fight from happening in the first place? Thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this presentation as much as I enjoyed creating it. And please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Thank you.